What's up, friend, and welcome back to a new video here on the official MTG Arena YouTube channel. My name is Ashlizzlle, and today we're going to have a look at a deck list that got a lot of really good new upgrades from the new Magic the Gathering set Foundations. And this deck is something that I absolutely adore for many, many reasons that we'll get into here in a second, because we're going to have a look at Simic Terror, or Simic Tempo, or Simic Crabs. I'm not really sure what we're calling this deck as a collective, but it's a really cool Simic deck, so let's have a look. So this deck list basically revolves around three super important cards: Tolarian Terror, Eddymer Crab, and Up the Beanstalk. Tolarian Terror and Eddymer Crab are pretty expensive creatures, but they have one thing in common, which is that they get discounted by 1 based on instant and sorcery cards in your graveyard. So ideally, the Tolarian Terror is a 1-mana 5/5 with War 2, and Eddymer Crab is a 2-mana 5/5 that when it enters, you tap up to 2 target creatures. This crab also has flash, which is really important because this is kind of like a tempo-like deck. So very often how you win with this deck list is that you fill up your graveyard, discount these guys, then you tap down a bunch of your opponent's stuff, or you bounce a bunch of their stuff to get rid of their blockers, and then you swing at them for lethal damage. Eddymer Crab with the tap 2 is a super important part of winning the game like that. So this is also why we play This Town Ain't Big Enough. 5-mana instant, costs 3 less to cast if it targets a permanent you control. Then you return up to 2 target non-land permanents to their owner's hand. So with This Town Ain't Big Enough, you very often target a blocker that your opponent has, and you pick up your Eddymer Crab again to be able to replay it, tap down a bunch of stuff. While you do that, all of these cards here, the Tolarian Terror, Eddymer Crab, and This Town Ain't Big Enough, also trigger Up the Beanstalk, the 2-mana enchantment. When it enters and whenever you cast a spell with mana value 5 or greater, you get to draw a card. This is basically our important source of card advantage in this deck list. So yeah, despite these cards getting discounted, their mana value will still be 5 or greater. So very great to draw a ton of cards out of. Now, we need to fill up the graveyard, like I said, and there are some really great cards that do in that. Seed of Hope and Cash Grab, 1-mana instant and a 2-mana instant. Seed of Hope mills 2 cards, and you may put a permanent card from among the milled cards into your hand. So with these cards, you either want to grab a land that you might need, or any of the Beanstalk, Tolarian Terror, Crab, or Stormchaser's Talent, or I guess Cura as well. Cash Grab, same story, 2-mana mill 4 cards. It may put a permanent card from among the cards milled this way into your hand. Now these cards are super important in here, alongside Bushwhack as well. 1-mana, search the library for a basic land, reveal it, put it into your hand, or a target creature you control fights target creature you do not control. I think Opt technically counts as well. 1-mana instant, scry 1, draw a card, new from Foundations. These cards are important because this is a 17 land deck list. Incredibly low land count, which I am a big fan of. This is one of the reasons why I adore this deck list. Anytime I get to keep a 1-lander and it actually works out because I have a Seed of Hope and a Bushwhack, I'm down, you can count me in. So yeah, super important to make sure that you have these cards in your opening hand, not only to fill up your graveyard, but also find those land drops that you do need to hit. So Analyze the Pollen is also decent at that. There was, back in the day, this deck list played 4 copies of Analyze the Pollen to be able to tutor up a land and also maybe even tutor up something else, because you could also collect Evidence 8 to be able to find one of your win conditions. But there's only just 1 copy left of this card now. For vibes. So yeah, back to the strategy of bouncing. New card as well, new old card from Foundations. Unsummon, instant, return target creature to its owner's hand. Now there are certain deck lists that play a split between Unsummon and Floodmaw, but I fully believe in Unsummon because Unsummon can also pick up your own creatures as well. So you could pick up that Eddymer Crab, be able to replay it, and just for that value alone, I think it's absolutely worth playing Unsummon over Floodmaw. But a 2-2 split is also completely fine. So yeah, I spoke about filling up the graveyard. So speaking of new cards on Foundations, Cura the Rising Tide, 3-mana 3/2. When it enters, draw 2 cards and discard 2 cards. That loot effect is super nice because we want to fill up the graveyard and also we want to find our threats. So Cura does a great job at that. But then there's more to it, because Threshold, whenever Cura attacks, if there are 7 or more cards in your graveyard, you may create Sign of the Deep, a legendary 8/8 blue octopus creature token, which is very easily doable in this deck list, considering how many ways there are for us to mill ourselves and have more than 7 cards in the graveyard. So if Cura gets to attack and doesn't get removed, you very often can get yourself that octopus, which is awesome. Now there's one card I haven't spoken of really, which is Stormchaser's Talent. Still a really great card in here, especially a fantastic good turn 1 or turn 2 play. 1-mana enchantment, and when it enters, to create a 1/1 blue and red otter creature token with prowess. This makes for a pretty aggressive threat on the battlefield, because we do have 33 non-creature spells in here, so a lot of ways to trigger prowess. But this card is also awesome because you have that like level 2, and when it becomes level 2, you return a target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand, which is fantastic to bring back This Town Ain't Big Enough. This is an interaction you might be familiar with if you've played against the Temur Otter deck list in Standard that also wants to pick This Town Ain't Big Enough up from the graveyard and target the Stormchaser's talent with it, replay the talent, buy back the Town Ain't Big Enough, and that's kind of like an expensive loop that you're working with, which is also possible in this deck list. Now, I adore this deck list because I just think that 17 lands, I'm in. I love a good tempo gameplay, but one of the greater things about this deck list is that it actually doesn't require a lot of like rare or mythic wildcards. You have the lands, and then you have the Analyzable and then the Stormchaser's talent. But what I wanted to do for this little intro, and I know it's gone on for a while already, I do apologize for that, is that I wanted to show you guys a version of this deck list that requires 0 rares or mythics in general, not even in the sideboard. The sideboard in here plays 2 Ghost Vacuums. So let's have a look at the deck list that I made for you guys. If you want to try out this deck, but you don't want to, or you don't have any like rare or mythic wildcards to spend on it, this is the budget option on MTG Arena for Simic Terror. So all of the rare cards are out, even the lands, and that works in my opinion because you have cards like Bushwhack and also Brave the Wilds, which is a budget option 1 mana sorcery. If the spell was bargained, target land becomes a 3/3. Search your library for a basic land card, reveal, put it into your hand, and shuffle. Like with the Brave the Wilds, the Bushwhack, and the Seed of Hope, plus I guess the Cash Grab too, you have a very high shot at just like finding the colors that you need. So you don't necessarily need duels. Like, don't get me wrong, this deck list basically plays at like 75% of like the power of the previous one, but 75% power level with this deck list is still more than capable enough of winning you more games than losing you the game. So the Herbology Instructor is kind of like the flex slot in here. You can turn that into like a negate if that's what you're looking for, but Herbology Instructor can be a really cool card, especially with unsummon and stuff against like aggro decks, which is nice depending on what the day is. Like you could make it Herbology Instructor if you see a lot of aggro, you could make it Negate or something, or Phantom Interference if you see a lot of, you know, non-aggro decks. So outside of that, like the deck list is almost the same, right? So I figured it would be worth showing you guys. The Soul Guide Lantern have taken over the Ghost Vacuums, but outside of that, the sideboard is the same as well. So I hope you enjoy that little inclusion. Now it's time to finally get into the gameplay here. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the official MTG Arena YouTube channel as well, because, you know, that is just fantastic. There's a lot of really great people on here that make a bunch of, like, other content too, and you don't want to miss out on that as well. And if you enjoy what you're seeing, make sure to check out my own channel over on youtube.com/Ashlizzlle as well. All right, sorry about the long intro here. Let's finally get into the gameplay. Okay, so it's not very often that we get given 3 lands in our opening hand in this deck, but when it happens, you take it. Means there's only, what, like 14 lands left into the deck? Or 13? 14. Now 13. Okay, this is... it's getting weird. Cool. We see a Heartfire Hero and a Leyline of Resonance. It's been a while. Okay. Not doing anything. Let's see if I can hit him with the Opt. This Town Ain't Big Enough. Yeah, that's probably going to be a pretty important card in this matchup. Okay, we got another land somehow. Somehow, some way. Yeah, I need to like stem the bleeding here, really, so... whatever we can do. Now, I hope that obviously they don't have like a Monstrous Rage, perhaps, but... there's only one way to find out. Alright, saved. We're gonna do This Town Ain't Big Enough, or up to Beanstalk so we can set up This Town Ain't Big Enough. Sorry about that one. Alright. Questing Druid. Oof, this could potentially give some scary stuff. Questing Druid finds land and Questing Druid. Okay. A little bit of a Questing Druid chain. But as long as we can hold them off, we are okay, I think. We'll see. This is a weird game. What do you mean? They Questing Druid and a Questing Druid again. Getting weird out here. Kind of don't hate the idea of bouncing back the slick shot, but I almost feel like I need to save it. However, I think I'll do it. Just to buy myself time again, I think. Right, because that was weird. Right, because that was a bit odd, but it's okay. Cool. Okay, well, I'll go in with some hate here. We have a pick your poison. I can do double enable to scream. Kind of also want to do monsters emergence. I'll take the beans out because the card is not the best right now. It's a little slow. Considering pop edge formation does hit an enchantment, does hit a flyer too. But I feel like pick your poison and all the hate plus all the bounce effects should be good enough already. So I'm just gonna try that here. Kind of have the pop edge formations for like Overlord or like Domain decks or Caretaker Talon decks. Not really for Leyline of Resonance, but I haven't seen Leyline of Resonance in a while either anyways. So we'll see. We'll see. Winning that was huge at least. I did think they conceded a little bit early though. But I do get it, like they were gonna lose those cards. Alright, 0 lands. That is unfortunately not something that we can work with. 3 lands. Okay. And some interaction too. I almost want to be brave and go after, like just get rid of the Hedge Maze. Hopefully Cash Grab finds me another land. That would be awesome. Okay. Well. Let's see what hand they kept and if it has a leyline in it. It does not. So I could immediately hit that with Enable to Scream, which I think I will do. Cacophony Scamp is a little scary, especially because it can like sacrifice itself as well when it deals damage to us. So I'm gonna vibe and hope for the best. This is also still very nice. Salt. All right, Oko, what's up? I can give them an Oko back. Sure. Real recognizes real. Is that because they kept a one-lander? Oh man, that's tough. Makes me feel a little bit better about this though. Might be a quick game. All right, another Cacophony Scamp. Yep, you can swing with your 0 too. All right, I'm gonna cash grab, see if I can find a land here. I'll go for the island for sure. This is a decent moment for Kiora, but I think what's even better is probably just the Monsters Emergence, the Cacophony Scamp with Kiora. Well, it's still just 1 point of damage, which is completely fine. I also hold up Unsummon still, which I think we're in such a great spot we don't need it, but if they kept a one-lander, there's probably a good reason for that. It might have to like include a bunch of one-drops and a bunch of pump-up effects. Okay, so they did hit their second land drop just now. I wonder what that means. I wonder if our life total is going to go a little low. Not yet. Okay, so it might be questing Druid again, I guess. Well, do I believe in a Kiora moment? I kind of want to. Discard 2 cards. Ooh. Maybe Seed of Hope. Plus. How brave am I? I feel like it has to be double Seed of Hope. It hurts me to do that though, because it's also life gain. But we'll see. If Kiora gets to live and I get to make an octopus, it would be nice. Okay. Sure. We get an octopus, like for real? Are you for real? Am I gonna get my octopus? Alright, that just feels incredible. Love to see it. Scion of the Deep has arrived. Now, what are you going to be able to do about that? Gruul. Fire off, like, 3 burn effects? Okay, they're thinking about it, I guess. So this might be, like, yeah, Rage. I mean, this is just too tempting for me right now. Because if it dies, then they get a Manifest Dread creature back. So if I do just this, I should be okay. Oh, brother. Am I gonna double down? I might double down. Unless they have another Snakeskin Veil, but then, like, respect. Yeah, that's gonna be a pretty big, like, fizzle moment for them. Okay, so they did have the right spells to take out the Scion of the Deep, but yeah, I'm just chilling right now. Swing at my 8/8s. And I'm gonna go like Yura, or do I just set up Eddie Crab? I mean, with the opponent being at 8 life, Eddie Crab is probably like my best bet because I can just tap their blockers down. I also still have another unsummon, so I can like tap more things down. Yeah, double Forge is not gonna be able to save them here. Definitely not. Alright, so we'll just take 4. We Flashing Crab. Tap down Cacophony Scamp, win the game, because there's nothing they can do with 1 mana. I mean, Lithmetic Barrage, but, you know, that's not instant speed, fortunately. Witchstalker Frenzy, they cannot pay for. I think we're good. Alright, clean enough. I take it. I take it anytime. Let's go. Yo, look at this perfect matchmaking. Wow, 750 versus 743. Very impressive. Okay, so yeah, this is unfortunately kind of unkeepable with the double islands because like we really want to cast these spells, so we gotta mull that. That's fine. That's fine. We can keep that for sure. Okay. So what are we gonna put back? It probably has to be either Crab or Tolarian Terror because we need to fill up our graveyard first. I think it's gonna be painful, but I think Crab needs to go to the bottom. Also because I don't have the second blue source yet, so we'll see. Red aggro. Here we are. Okay, Bushwhack is also nice. We could at least like tutor up the other blue source with that. I'm just gonna do Forest, Seed of Hope. Okay. This is at least going to be a little bit challenging. Get it? Because we're on the draw, but I like a challenge, so let's see what we can do. Seed of Hope. We'll grab the Yavimaya Coast. Okay, that's nice. So we can put beans in play, and then we can pick up beans and hopefully pick up something from theirs as well. I mean, we can do that. And then hopefully soon, before it's too late, we can get these guys into a very discounted rate. This is a good start that the opponent has, that's for sure. And summon as well, okay. I wonder if I should just do Bushwhack to get that extra, like, discount. I think I do. I'm gonna tutor up an island here. Alright, so now we have this down in big enough. We also have Unsummon. We're gonna get really close. So life total's at 12. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Okay, Amberheart Challenger. Alright. Any other things before going to damage? Please do. So I can pick it up. Don't be shy. Lightning Strike. Oof. Okay, that hits hard. Yep. Let's do this. Bean Trigger. Okay, so my mana is really awkward here. But if I do... Analyze the Pollen. Search for basic land, find an island. Then I can do Eddymer Crab plus unsummon. And then hopefully 5 life is good enough to save us. We'll see. Nemesis. Oh man, we're cutting it awfully close. Because they're gonna haste that in play too. They're not? Whoa, okay. So he's gonna tab these. It's always a bit like challenging against red aggro, especially when you're on the draw. That Screaming Nemesis could be especially problematic. I think I need to bounce it back. For life, this is fine. This is fine. Alright, let's do Beanstalk. Valerian Terror. And I'm gonna give myself Astounding big enough. Yeah, the Nemesis and Heartfire Hero, like both representing like a ton of damage into my face, is not good. It's not good. Not good. I don't think we're gonna get past this one. I don't think we are. Because these guys basically already represent like 5 damage, which is just very tough. Not good at all. Is that Witchstalker Frenzy too? Yeah. Nope. They had too many creatures with haste, I'm afraid. Too many creatures with haste. We're gonna have to try again. We have some decent cyber tools, so we're going to enable the Scream. We can do Monstrous Emergence. I think that's about it for me, though. Beans is a little slow against each types of decks. It's always nice to have Beanstalk, but we need to do other things. So I think that's good enough for me. I'm gonna press done. Alright, and now that we know that we're against red aggro as well, we can choose different hands, and hopefully that'll give us the advantage we need to win this. But red aggro definitely is not like your greatest matchups. There's people that actually play... There was a deck list that played Herbology Instructor in a side, which is that like card that I showed during the intro, the 1/3 that gains 3 life, and you can just pick that up a bunch of times and try to gain life off of it, but not the biggest fan. Let's keep that. Alright. This looks pretty good. Should be a fast Solarian Terror, which will help us out. Here we go. Botanical Sanctum, just pass a turn. Yeah, those will be a different game, for sure. Ooh, I actually like picking up Enable Scream here. Love being able to pick up permanents. Ooh, Eddymer Crab as well. Yeah, this is looking real nice. What a difference a coin flip makes. What a dream. Yep, we're gonna hit us for 2. We're gonna cash grab. We'll grab the land. Look at that, Solarian Terror, 2 mana. This is what I'm talking about at fastest turn 3. Like, this is more like it, my friends. Alright. Kiora very close with the threshold too. Just trying to figure out, like, what am I the most scared of here? I think Enable Scream is kind of a card I want to keep for Screaming Nemesis. Actually don't hate trying to slam Kiora. Like, it does demand removal, or they're gonna have a bad time. Very tempting. Iron Terror is technically like the best defensive play. Kiora would be... I do want an octopus. The greed for the octopus, compels me. I'm doing it. Let's just do these, I think. This is greed winning. Sorry, I just want my 8/8 octopus. Hope you got your burst lightnings or lightning strikes or whatever. Or be able to face the sign of the deep. Surely they won't give me that, right? I was about to say, surely they won't give me that stuff. Would be very nice, but I don't think it's happening. Alright, so I guess the only other option is to just overwhelm them with an army of 5/5s. Like, this is what I was talking about in the deck too. Like, at some point you just overwhelm your opponent with just 3 or 4 5/5s. There's not a whole lot they can do about that, so that's what we're doing right now. I just wanted to try Kiora. I couldn't help myself. Sorry, chat. I had to give it a shot. Oh, I said chat. Sorry, like the streamer took over for a second. Viewer. Lovely viewer. That's fine. I saved the enable to stream for that. So before they go to combat, we'll play Eddymer Crab, tap them both down, and hit him for 10. Half their life total, do it again next turn, thrive. Here we go. Beautiful. Okay, so I could do something with enable to scream. But do I need to do that right now? I mean... on the Ember Challenger, I don't hate that, to be honest. Which is kind of weird that I'm not going after the Nemesis, but I feel like the Challenger could get them a way out of this if they, like, get the Valiant trigger going, so... I think my hand is good enough for me to not have to worry about Nemesis. So we're actually going to let them attack us if they want to. They don't. So they need to be armed with Witch Stalker Frenzies, which they're not. We tap their stuff down, we win the game. That's a beautiful example of how this deck is supposed to work. But now, my friends, here we are again on the draw versus red aggro, which might make a difference. I'm not sure. I'm hoping for the best. I think it will be okay. Just forgot it. I didn't even have my game audio on. What is wrong with me? I'm just sitting here in silence. I'm so sorry about that. Let's get that going. Ooh, wow, okay. Is my, like, filter taking out? I think it is. Here, that should be a little better. Why is it not being picked up, though? This should do it. Okay. Here we go. There you go. Some MTG Arena sound for you. I don't know why it I don't know why it wasn't on, but something's wrong with my mixer, apparently. Okay. This is a risky one. I don't think I can afford that risk right now. I need a perfect hand. That's probably more reasonable. Okay. I know it is working. Alright, my mixer's just being weird. Sorry about that. I think I have to start off with the Hedge Maze. Land perfect, okay. We can always set up Storm Chaser's Challenge plus Bushwhack. I mean, ideally we do not, but depending on what their hand looks like this, it's pretty... I would absolutely, Storm Chaser Challenge plus Bushwhack a Hired Claw away for sure. do fight. You can also wait and try to like mess around with like instant speed stuff, but it's a little risky if they have Monstrous Rage. Which, if you keep a one-lander, you probably have a decent... You might, you know, you might. I would keep a one-lander with Monstrous Rage in it, probably. So, what else can we do here? I think it's okay to hold back right now. We just actually have the big advantage to keep the one-lander here, not to jinx it. Okay, here they go. And help them out, but it buys us a lot of time. Which I like. One otter versus an army of red aggressive creatures. And we get through it. What do they have? At least this is also like 2 life in here as well, which is nice. Long pause. Alright, I'm gonna see if I can block the Hired Claw. Do you have a Rage or something else? Start off with Seed of Hope. Could be Lightning Strike. Okay, well, I can't stop that. I'll still show them what I was planning on doing, I guess. Okay, that is a lot of lands. Not really happy to see that, to be honest. Maybe this will give us something? There we go. Valerian Terror. Perfect. Alright, so now we're in a really great spot where we can just slam some 5/5s. I also want to slam Kiora, but let me just put some like good blockers in play first here. And then we just do it all over again. 13 life is good enough for me still. Now I wonder if they're playing Lithmatic Barrage. I hope not. Because that's pretty good against me. I feel like that Cyber card has fallen out of favor a little bit though, lately. But you never know. Yeah, so Stormchaser Silence level 2, which is why they're aggressively hovering over my graveyard, is capable of buying back Bushwhack if I want to go there. Could get rid of another attacker. Or blocker, hopefully, depending on what spot we're in. I mean, I don't think they're in a position to attack me. I almost want to say, like, dare you. But, yeah, I don't think they will. I'm just gonna develop my board here. What a beautiful draw. Okay, so, yeah, here we go. We're just gonna do some Simic Tempo things. Hit you for 10. Cool. I guess I'll... Do I want to play a land out? I mean... I could set up Kiora. I just gotta make sure that I play the crab. Discard 2 cards. Pass a turn. Hold the Eddy Merc. This is just... It's just so nice. Like, all of this with 17 lands. Isn't that beautiful, guys? Like, isn't that beautiful? I'm obsessed with this deck. I don't know why. It's just perfect. There's also a really cool, like, budget deck possible with this, if you don't have, like, the rares or mythics to spend on this. It's awesome. I could not love a deck list more. How far I've changed from being somebody that would absolutely despises Simic to somebody that's actually pretty cool with it. I used to, really hate Simic because of the old Uro, Nissa, Crassus, Oko days. But here I am, truly an enjoyer nowadays. Simic's identity has just become like real cool. Manifold Mouse. Okay, so we Stormchaser Shalland. we buy back the Bushwhack from the graveyard. We remove a blocker and hopefully win. Alright, so Bushwhack, we're gonna fight the Manifold Mouse. Cool, so opponent has one red open. It is gonna hurt me to do this, but nah, I still go for it. I mean, like, I'd have to, like, attacking with 2 creatures plays around Witch Doctor Frenzy, but that's obviously not lethal, so I just have to commit. We do get a Kiora trigger though. Yeah, just fire off that Frenzy already. Yeah. Like I said, there's kind of no way around it, I don't think. If they have it, they have it. But I get a like octopus now, which makes it worth it for me. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. You know what? I cry every time. Oh man, not my octopus turned against me. Yeah. It is what it is. That was very unfortunate.